Peace. Peace was the signs. I got sincere. Can you hear me? One, one, two, 1, 2. Yeah, I see that. I'm trying to figure out how to get this picture off the screen. True self. I don't know how to get this picture on the screen in the first place. Hmm. Nah, this is another. I got you know me. I gotta stay carrying on my toys. And this particular one I can't figure out how to use it. Wait, what was that? Yeah, I don't know, I guess wait, it's not. That's in the. I can't call it how to get that picture off of there. Guess we just stuck with that. Stuck with that for right now. Blind truth. I don't even know if City Sciences. I don't even know if City Sciences is ready for these topics. That's coming up now. We already be lucky if we already be lucky if we still got a channel over on Random Juice tomorrow. Touched a couple topics. Yeah, you know something? I made an observation the other day, and it made me think of a question. Have you ever seen a crazy woman mumbling to herself? Like just in different histories of time. Have you ever seen a crazy woman? You know, a woman. You know, let's not say crazy. Let's say emotionally challenged, but just mumbling to herself. Have you ever observed that? Is anyone still there? Anyone out there? It's just an observation. Have you ever? What are we frozen or something? Our guy Sincere said he's seen it on a number of occasions. Anyone else? Has anyone else ever seen an emotionally challenged young lady mumbling to herself? Are we going in and out or something here? So All From One said he's seen that as well. I gotta tell you, I don't recall ever seeing an emotionally challenged young lady mumbling to herself. Divine Truth said he's seen it from time to time. I've never seen that I could think of. Every time I've seen a woman talking to herself, she's talking at the top of her lungs. She's screaming at the top of her lungs. I've never just seen them just like mumbling where you like, what you say? Maybe it's just me, I'm not noticing. And they always appear to be yelling about the same thing. Like I just, I was, I was on like Madison Avenue or something. and I saw the lady over there. She came out. She yelled something, and I just looked over there. I thought she was talking to somebody. And then I realized, like, oh man, nah, she's just yelling at imaginary people. Divine Truth said mostly those with some type of mental issues is homeless. And listen, that is another thing that made me make that observation is that it's the numbers on that in New York is just going through the roof right now. Like I'm telling you, it's difficult to walk into a store, right, around the school. If you walk into a store, a homeless woman will come in there and ask you for money. Well, I don't know, maybe it's me. But like today, it was a lady. She was. You know how, you usually see dudes doing it. Homeless dudes or whatever. But you know how they'll be opening the door for everybody that come. And just hoping that somebody hit them off with a tip or whatever. Just now, I was at the store. I went in the store. A lady was doing that. That was not really. That wasn't common. I mean, they panhandle, but it's something different now. A law born, what's that, Albany? Hmm. But yeah, it's getting bad. And then you know what it is too, being that the weather is warming up. You know what I'm saying? So, now they you go ahead and see them a little more where, like for instance, same thing, going to the store, you know what I'm saying? Another dude, he's laid out on the floor right there. Like he's just, in fact, right over there in front of IB's job. The guy at IB, right over there where his job is at, dude's just laid out. Like he had it all the stuff hooked up, pillow, all that, whatever he using for a pillow. So, you starting to see more in general, but I'm just saying I don't recall I don't recall seeing quite as many women in as desperate straits. Like there's something, there has to be something said about that. Or, something to be said about that. You know what I mean? Kind of in the same way that I was saying earlier about how it's like, you struggling, but you in house shoes. You know what I'm saying? So, kind of in that same way, it's like, you got, and not saying that that's not valid, but in terms of, talking about pay inequality, I'm sure that's one of the things that, is creating inequality right there. Is that while you got a lot of women that, I don't know if, making 100,000, 300,000, whatever they make a year, right? You got that, but then the average is still being pulled down, you know what I'm saying, by a large group of women that's going kind of underwater there. Said the homeless population is steady. Now I don't know. The homeless population appears to be exploding. Like you see homeless women on the median, sitting on the medians over there by Broadway, where they got the benches. It used to be the occasional person. You had people like the Wild Man in 96th Street. Cats like that, they was permanent. My man that used to get on it. Remember my man that used to get on the train and play the drums and tell jokes? He used to rest around my way. They have a few shelters out here. It's like a different world when you go through and see people in that environment. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, and it's like, just certain places. Like around 34th Street, around 42nd Street, up and down Broadway. Yo, it's the situation is crazy. See, like how you said with the shelters, it used to, certain places down on the Bowery and all of that, you really, see people, that kind of environment. No money, no cash, no credit. Went to the bank. They said, forget it. Got no money for bread and meat. If you don't give me, my family don't eat. I mean, pretty much. Mm. Yeah, I remember it. I remember it. Yeah, you're right about that, man. The drugs right now, and like I said, they put in what people have been telling me is that it's something new that they mixing in with the K-12 now, so that's making people like they hype now. Like a year ago, whenever you saw somebody high, they was all laid out. Now you start to see people all hyped up. Like, I'm going across the street. Let me go across the street to get away from this person. type hyped up. But, you know, see, it's something that, it became a joke, right? In the in the in the 90s, I guess you could say. You know what I mean? The kind of crack woman. To where you hear a lot of, there was a time when black women was complaining about that, kind of the stereotype of, the black woman, as, always being crack addicted and, just the impact that, you know, how big the impact of that was on every story of black women or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But you know, my point is, it's true, right? That these things have a worse impact on women. You can see it during and after. Like, I know dudes that kind of, for, however you manifest the concept, right? I knew dudes that pretty much, they maintain they respect, or some semblance of it, even through smoking crack. I don't know as many women that stuff has a greater impact on them. Even physically, because they got more fat on them. And a lot of drugs, a lot of things, period, but it's fat soluble. And it dissolves into the fat. Not saying, women is fat, I'm just talking about naturally. They women need more fat to have children. Without a certain amount of fat, they don't even menstruate. And that extra content, is holding on to a lot of the toxins. Is holding on to a lot of the toxins, that you taking in when you getting high like that. You know what I mean? So you can even kind of see it after. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's it's a lot of dudes that might tell you, yo, I used to smoke crack, right? And you'd be like, oh shit, where you used to smoke crack? There's not as many women that can surprise you by telling you they used to smoke crack. You're going to be able to see, just the impact that it has. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I think you're starting to see that, even with the, it be expensive or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But, a lot of this, rose all day, and that's even white women. Atlantic City is so drugged out. And like you said, the women look haggard and the dudes be crazy, but they look capable. Yeah, and Atlantic City is one of the places where it's like the tale of two, it's like the tale of two cities or something. I recall the first time uh, I wandered maybe like 2 blocks off the boardwalk. Like I went out there one time with my grandmother, one of her convention bullshit, and I wasn't 21, so I found this shit. It was like an arcade or something. I was down there for a minute. So now I'm on the boardwalk and shit. You know what I mean? I go down to the beach, burn it down, right? So then now I'm like, boom, trying to see what's going on. And I walk maybe about 2 blocks, from the boardwalk. And Atlantic City is one of the rare places, right? Where it's like, if you from New York in the era when I grew up, right? It's not many places. Like, Jimmy Carter, the president, came to the Bronx and said the shit looked like the Blitz. It looked like Germany after the Blitz, like Europe. Like, when they bombed it out, when they was having the Air Force battle, the air battle, and they raided each other's countries and bombing. He said that's what the Bronx looked like. Just adding that on just to say that, it's not many places that I go and be like, all right, let's get the fuck out of here. They did. It's been a couple places. You ever been in Baltimore like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning? I'm glad I ain't need gas. North Philly. There's been a few places, but put Atlantic City on the list. Places where let's go back and get a bigger boat. Saturday Thursday AC is an extreme case. IB. What's the deal? See, I wish we ain't on the what's the name. We ain't on the what's the name tonight. We're damn. Because I want to see what you got to say about these present topics. You know what I'm saying? Plus, I know you be on top of. I've really been avoiding the stories. I know you usually have done, a lot of research into seeing what's going on, man. But it appears, he said I was at a Ratchet Hotel at B-Wall, wasn't out at 5. Yeah, I was in this part, man, where I don't know, like all the houses was abandoned, and it was like just It was like more than the living bass heads out there or something. Camden, put Camden on the list. Spooky. All right, so yeah, catch you tomorrow. Catch you tomorrow anyway. But yeah, though this you know, I wanted to see what you was thinking in terms of, this being a new manifestation, right, of the kind of, like the hate. We know that's been in existence, right? But see, just like the face of the hate, right, has taken on different forms. Like, see, even the Klan itself, right, has died down and spiked up at certain times, depending on how threatened they felt. You know what I'm saying? But just saying in terms of, like, for instance, remember back in the days, like in the 80s, in the 90s, right? You have, in the 80s and the 90s, you had like the skinheads and those type of cats, you know what I mean? The skinheads, they've probably grown up to be, some of these dudes that you see, the Proud Boys or whatever, you know what I'm saying? The dudes that be on the right now. But just saying that now that you got somebody that's 18, that's taking it to levels, even Bull Connor, even Bull Connor wasn't that pissed off. But it's like the desperation of like Bull Connor wasn't quite as desperate. You know what I mean? Like, kind of, just, I don't know him personally. But just saying, his reaction just seemed a little more like, all right, we need to keep these northern niggas and let them know what their place is. But he didn't just fire off like this kid. That's full desperation. Shaka Noodles, I used to fight skinheads in Cali. Yeah. In New York, they pretty much knew not to fuck around. We don't have too much. Like, they got their areas. You know what I'm saying? But, the betwixt in between. You say you don't like the response. You mean from us or from the like the in terms of he first of all, once again, walked in the precinct without a scratch on him. Once again, let's not. But then on top of that, I was saying when I was in the restaurant earlier today, I was watching the screen, right? And the news was on, and they was talking about, the prosecutor from up there was talking about, this dude, he's innocent until proven guilty. And everybody think they know all of this, but that's not how I run my court. And my job is to do this. And it's like, yeah, I understand what you're saying about due process and everything, but it really seemed like he was going out his way to, it seemed like he was going out his way to say that the kid is innocent. y'all built on the premise of the dual manifesto being the colored man is being replaced. My question is, where you being placed in the first place, and where you being placed now? Replacement theory falls in line with Elijah and Francis Quest Welsing in my mind. Oh yeah, the response from original people to me, with which is just like, listen, you know, certain things. It's like, okay, we got that issue. That's our business. Like right after this, we whatever you want to do, you want to shake over that. But right now, we got motherfuckers walking in the supermarket and laying people the fuck out. And y'all motherfuckers is so caught up in this ideological shit of being right, that you're not doing what's right. You just want to have the winning data set here. That's what, if we on the same page with that. Well, I just couldn't believe that. Like, wait a minute. This individual just walked in and returned 11 original people. And the conversation is about black people's xenophobia. You ain't never gonna see. If that's not enough illumination for you, you ain't gonna see. Shit, they got me watching them. Talking about our aunties and uncles scared to go to the supermarket. Better do some burpees so you can move quick out here. Divine Truth said the colored man turned their uniforms in for new uniforms. They have infiltrated all levels of institutions in society. I mean, I just, for me, both sides are just stupid. Like, I understand, the people, but to me, it's like, yo, like it's just both sides talking about it. Like, you got one side that, they saying almost like, well, yeah, see, this white dude flipped out, right? Because, Americans is being replaced. So see, we right, cause see, he knows it. You know what I'm saying? And then the other side is saying, yo, you white, you a white supremacist, you agreeing with white supremacist theory. Like, why is anybody talking about that right now? Why is anybody talking like that? That's like, if some shit happened to the guy, you like, yeah. Remember that time he said Yakub was the devil. Now's not the time to be talking about that. Listen, that's the best sign that I seen. That, listen, you go ahead and green light shit over there now, son. You go ahead and green light it, because these motherfuckers is, all they gonna do is fight each other. Because like I said, That's how ideological motherfuckers have gotten, and how, you know, academic people have gotten, where the, you know, the the hardcore reality of what happened, you know, you arguing about some other shit. See, I think, you know, like I said, you know, in terms of him saying what he's saying, I mean, to me, it don't matter. Like, he could have did it, right? He could have did it because he's against abortion. So he felt like, if he just went out and killed people that that it would show people that abortion is murder. Because then, instead of calling it murder, he would just say he performed super late term abortions. That could have been his reason. But you went in the black supermarket and shot up black people. So fuck your reason. He could have did it because he felt like, these black people is going to be struggling in a new, because the economy is getting fucked up with inflation. So instead of allowing these people to suffer, I'm going to take them out their misery. That could have been what was in his manifesto. I don't give a fuck. Now, when you get to what the manifesto was saying, I mean, listen. And see, the people that's saying that, right, they probably not likely to be quoting African proverbs. But look, dude, how they said the African proverb said, look, when the lumberjack brought the axe into the forest, one tree said to the other tree, look, the handle is one of us. So, I'm not going to scour this dude's, whatever, this drivel that he wrote to look for something that I agree with or disagree with. Listen, it's like this shit is almost like it's time tested. It's like it's time tested. That whenever they roll up, right, the bickering that's between us is too fucking great. The bickering between us is too fucking great for us to see that we need to handle this business over here. From the whole time, from when they came into that continent, right? From the time they started the age of exploration. That's what they've been encountering amongst us. In situations where the bickering amongst us is too great for us to understand who the real enemy is. We can't acknowledge equality. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That the you know, definitely not wisdom a lot rule. Definitely not wisdom a lot rule time. Can't even, you in order to do that, you gotta have an organized idea. October 5th, 2005, William Bennett said, if you want to reduce crime, abort every black baby in America. That was how his wisdom was built to his nation. Who's William Bennett? I recall that name. I don't know about that, but there is a theory that I've been hearing since the 80s. No. Since the early 90s. Because it doesn't apply to me and shit. Well, I guess it does apply to me, but I'm not. There was a guy that came out in the 90s, I'm pretty sure. I think he was an economist. And he said that crime went down in the 90s because of abortion. And that abortion meant that it was less unwanted kids, right, that was growing up in poverty and slipping through the cracks, etc., that was ending up criminals. I don't know if that's William Bennett, but this dude, I'm pretty sure he said that in the 90s when crime first started going down. It's hard to teach people. What you said? It's hard to teach people or who our enemy is when you have people with knowledge of self saying you're your own enemy. Crime is actually down now, but it's all they show in the news because it's profitable to peddle mischief. Crime went down in the 90s because of mass incarceration. Personally, I think crime went down in the 90s. And see, I think there's an illusion going on too, right? When you say crime went down in the 90s or that crime is down. I don't think crime really went down. It just spread out. So it's not in the same jurisdictions. You know what I'm saying? Meaning that right now around New York City, you got areas where there's gangs there where that was the total fucking suburbs. Where nobody came out at night over there. You know, those people used to sneak into the city, try to go to the movies on 42nd Street and get robbed. Now it's G'd up over there. So whereas it's like it might have been 2,000 murders in New York, right? Now it's a couple hundred, but then it's 40 and 50 murders in places where they might have had one murder every 5-10 years. You know what I'm saying? And in the inner cities, I think crime went down in the 90s because crack played out. Like, you know, in New York, it just, like, after, like, 1986, you know, people was just, you know, looked at as like, damn, you pretty stupid to start smoking crack now. Like, you know, everybody knows what it does. So, you know, at least with Giuliani, I've always said that, you know, he take all his credit, but really, crack just played out. It just, you know, it wasn't, there was no new people smoking crack. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, 84, 85, 86, every week you was hearing about a new person that not necessarily they started smoking crack because they probably was already dabbling, but somebody moved from smoking Woolers to the glass dick. You was hearing that, you know, every week, every month, you know, you was seeing somebody go from like, oh shit, used to be mad fly to, you know, now he's a crackhead. But like I said, I also think that, you know, just like for instance with the Bloods, right? In LA, right, it's possible that they saying the number of Bloods have gone down, right? But it's spread all over now though, so it's not really down. For instance, this is what I'm saying. If you look at the inner city numbers, right? You know, for let's say New York, and LA, who probably was leading the pack during the 80s, right? The numbers there is way down, right? But the national number is the highest it's ever been. Meaning all the murders in the United States. Like places that used to be the sticks, like that's one of the reasons why the streets ain't popping like that in New York no more. Because back in the days, you had the whole New Jersey, the whole Long Island, the whole Connecticut, where it was totally those people, and whenever they came to New York, they had to play triple, quadruple. Now, those places, just a lot of times, there's more flow over there than it is in New York sometimes. $793 says some still ain't get off it in the early 90s. Yeah, but those is places, that's what I'm saying, is that because look, you hear the same thing from brothers in California, in LA, right? That, you know, it gets to a point where the cops is hip to what we doing. You know, the competition is you know, people, you know, 1,000 people on every block and shit. So, you know, people start going out of town. And so, in some places, it's not until the late 80s, early 90s when people start flooding out of the city because the money is disappearing. Not disappearing, but like I said, it's no longer an expanding business. So people start expanding the business other places. Once that start happening, uh, so other places, whereas inner cities, you know, crack is touching down in 80, 81, 82, right? In those other places, crack is not touching down to 89, 90. God save divine. I think what he means though is that if you if you below a certain age and you saw what crack does to people. 793 said them 89, 90 spots just still recovering. Yeah, yeah, I've seen it. Right now, I think is a pretty bad time to be in the streets, yo. You know, I guess you don't hear about them as much, and I haven't been following it like that. But yo, it looks like they got it in for the Bloods, yo. I'm talking about the Alphabet Boys got it. They got it in for the Bloods, man. They hitting them at every locale. Ron True said the devil has been waging war on the original man for a long time. Indeed, but it's I mean, right now they I'm saying they just indicted to cast in Atlanta, right? They just took down two blood sets in New York, or I mean, I don't know how many people they got, but they took down at least a portion of the leadership in two New York sets. Now, like you said, yeah, with Young Thug in them, You know, from what they saying, I don't know nothing about the case, but allegedly they saying they taking down the leadership of them too. Yeah, but I mean, what'll be the impact of that? Would it be the impact of that, on that world? Divine truth said depends on the era. And I hate to, I don't want to act like I'm jumping into having one side or the other, or we need to go back to fighting one of our internal battles right now, right? But, isn't this the kind of thing that illustrates, when you got a lot of people in the black community that's like, yo, all gang members need to be lined up and shot, right? Just summarily executed. They're no good. But supposed Pookie and Ray Ray just happened, just happened to get caught. Their grandmother just happened to catch them before they was going out to the block and sent them to get some sugar. And, Pookie and Ray Ray, they can't go no place without the American Express. See, Pookie and Ray Ray is not, they not going down without a fight. That's one thing we can say about Pookie and Ray Ray. Murder Inc. was throwing up gang signs too. See, I don't even know. They could throw it. I wouldn't even know it if I saw it. They look like they after them though, G. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I have heard a few things come out of Chicago where they trying to take down dudes out of Chicago a little bit. Uh, but I haven't heard no Crips. So why is Ja Rule named Ja Rule? Yeah, I don't know. But I wouldn't say that his parents got knowledge of self. His name is Jeffrey. So I don't think his parents got knowledge. The worst part is that you know, we won't be using creative power. See, one thing you gotta give to other people, right, that did they street shit, is that they use their creative power. You see what I'm saying? Meaning the Italians, they flipped over into other businesses. Now, they had, a lot of cats that you are who you are. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of them, who they was, they just became that person with a lot of money. But they had creative power. You know what I'm saying? In terms of the other businesses that they opened and things that they got into. You know what I'm saying? There's places like Howard Beach, where that mob money built that. All over Bensonhurst, that got them out of Little Italy. Them and they families all over Staten Island. When the Jews, when they was in crime, they sent all their kids to school to be doctors and lawyers and dentists. They use their creative power. See, some people, they don't use their creative power. Like, you know who else don't use their creative power? South Americans and Mexicans. You see, like El Chapo, his sons is, they in the game right now, warring with some other faction. Instead of, living some other life that could be afforded them from this. Or the other lady, Griselda Blanco, I think all her kids got killed too. Because they didn't use their creative power to get out. See, in the mafia, you see that all over the place. You see, like Giuliani, his pops was a mafia nigga. But he did something else. Now, other dudes, they pull they kids in like it's a family business. They had that loot, but they didn't know what to do with it. We had a good 30-year run. Maybe even 35. From sometime in the 60s until at least 2000. Think of all the names. Think of all the names, son. Like everywhere where we from, son. Like you got people like VC Realm. I don't know the St. Louis names, but I'm sure it's dudes out there. And God Cypher Divine is from Jamaica. There's multiple kingpins in Jamaica. All over, everywhere. They put it on, they got TV shows now about how much they made. But they didn't use their creative power. So it just came and went. Because even if you're not doing something negative, if you're doing something positive, see, like, for instance, I'll give you a good example of something. That's what I'm saying. It's not even a stretch of the imagination. Like, you got to go do some crazy shit, right? But see, Don Bishop, right, being a homeowner, right, that's using his creative power with his loop. You see what I'm saying? See, he can just work at that job, right? And not saying that a house is the only way to do that. I'm just saying that's just a good example of something, right? He could go work at that job, whatever, and then when it's over, it's over. To give his kids, $2,500 to put on the funeral, and that's it. But see, now he's turned the loot into something, right? To now he give it to them and they do what they want. It could be knowledge. It could be, look, even in terms of maybe it won't be the physical building, right? But the knowledge of real estate. See, just by him going through that experience, right, and having that type of consciousness, right, he's turned that into something else and used creative power, right, where it could go to the understanding. You see what I mean? And then once they get it, they're gonna make it the best part, like they are. That's one of the differences. Like I said, it's not just with that, it's with everything. With all those people that came, it's like, yeah, that aspect, you do have to give them credit. Like, yeah, a lot of white people got the Homestead Act. But not all of them, right, was able to keep that going. Yeah, see that? Life insurance, that's another way. Where you use your creative power, you see what I mean, on how to keep that established for the long term. That's what all the other people did when they had their era, I'm saying. Like, see, we had the like I said, the 60s to like 2000, we dominated, G. See, the mob had from like the 20s to the 60s. From Prohibition, up through Carlo and all that. When Carlo was still around. But when you look at YouTube, how many niggas come on there and tell you about the hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands of dollars they was making every day? Eventually, something will happen, guy, that makes the illusion, is gonna make the illusion disappear. I know what you're thinking. I'm thinking the same thing. What more do they need to see to realize it's an illusion? What more? What else you need to see now? But now God apparently, no. Times are in fact not hard enough yet. Cause look, like we were saying in the beginning, we seeing the hunger, nakedness, and out of doors. But I was listening to this. I was reading this article. I don't know if anybody know about this dude. I can't remember his first name. If Ativa's in the room, he might know his first name. But his name is El-Arian. He used to deal with this company. I guess they used to read their Bible because the name of the company he used to work for was called Pimco. And at the time when I first discovered him, he was like the president of that company. Muhammad is his first name, Muhammad Al-Arian. And they was the largest bond dealers in the world at that time. And this guy, Al-Arian, there was a couple other people too. But Al-Arian, this other guy named Rubini, they all predicted the crash in 2008 or 2007, whenever it was, that crash, they all predicted it, right? And he moved on now. I think he got his own company. He do whatever, but he still, he come on the news. He come on the news and they, as like an expert, boom, what's going on. And he was saying that something is about to happen, on a mental level, right? That's going to affect people more so. And he was saying that a lot of times when you deal with those hard time issues, right? Like unemployment and homelessness, it's still only affecting a minority of the people, right? As opposed to inflation, right? Which affects everybody. And he was saying that that's what is gonna be the real difference, in the impact that it has on the economy. Like he wasn't looking at the Future as extremely bright. I also was reading something and I was like, okay, now that's a bad sign. That even Bernanke, who was the the Fed chair under Obama, Bernanke is saying it don't look good. He said he got high hopes, but it don't look good. See, it might be the same thing I'm saying in terms of people seeing the situation of what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Like something has to happen. Like, don't get me wrong, George Floyd, yeah, that affected everybody. Everybody saw it. But everybody didn't get choked out. You know, he's still a person on TV, and there's something about that, you know, that screen. You know, we could tell from the shit people say on social media to each other that there's something about that screen that separates you from who you're dealing with. You know, like, look, for instance, I told y'all the time I got caught up in the riot. Like, yo, the shit was, you know, seeing it on TV, you know, where I was at, really, most of the crowd had already went through. That was the night they went up to 34th Street and tore it up. I seen them, like, on 17th Street. You know, being there, right there, is much more hectic. Right? It's much more hectic than seeing it on TV. You see Mike Tyson fight in the ring on TV. I mean, it'd be different if you in the ring with him. So see, something has to happen to where all them people that just be telling you, like, yeah, well, the way shit is, you can't really worry about that. You just got to get your own, you know what I'm saying, and do this, man, and pull yourself up by the bootstraps. See, when something happens that affects them, right, beyond the microaggression level, then you might see. And the people, the regular people, man, until they stop liking this shit. VC Realm, where you came with that statement? I know what's going on with VC Realm tonight. But he's choosing violence. Oh, you talking about the Mike Tyson on the airplanes? I was about to say, what's wrong with VC Realm? Just came in talking about people getting punched out. About to say, man, we might need to call them people. We might need to call them people on VC Realm. That's what happens, when people see the signs like that, they don't say nothing. That's what we got. I just say, look, man, I don't know, you might be breaking down. Let's do a wellness check. Yeah, man, you gotta call them people. Oh yeah, I didn't tell y'all that too. Did y'all know? Listen, they really had to call them people for somebody. Freddie Gibbs got jumped in Buffalo. When? See, man, that's what I'm saying too. This has got to stop, G. Like people, getting, they doing their thing. They out there making money. They got to stop. Just fighting back and forth, man. Come on. Got to be dignified, G. That's not man of respect shit. But yeah, back to what I was saying. Saying, when I say they had to call them people, look, I missed it by that much. Freddie and Benny is beefing. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, is, cause see, I be wondering what else is it? Like, it's got to be something else. It's got to be something else. You going to see Griselda on Thursday? See, man, I ain't know. You see, that's why you got to come on the City Sciences channel. It's like, I never would have thought Maya listens to Griselda. You see? First smoked out with, now you, Maya. The other day we smoked out at. Smoked out came in here talking all that millennial shit. So the next thing you know, said smoked out went to Sunday school. But y'all keep interrupting me when I'm trying to tell y'all, when I try to tell y'all about them people. Conway. You gotta watch Maya. You got it. Conway the Machine. You got a question about home and abroad. Could you give an approximate number of how many people are in our nation? Oh, nah. I can't. It's people in fucking Bucharest now, man. Like, you know how many people pop up out of nowhere that be like, yeah, I had it now since the 90s. Get the fuck out of here. Where you at? Yes, it's impossible. Like at one time, we had like, say like in this school, you know what I mean, we could give you an approximate number of how many guys was in this school. You know what I'm saying? But nah. I'm talking about back in high school. But y'all keep interrupting me. I'm trying to tell y'all, listen, I could have got killed. Look, the motherfucker, right? The guy comes, and at the time, I was already making some other move. I was already doing what I was doing, so it was like, the brother comes up and he's like, yo, I got one in there for you. He need to see you, right? So as soon as he said it, I just was like, nah. And I walked off, right? I was going to do what I was doing. I walked off from him. I just was like, nah. I ain't chuck nobody. So as I'm walking down the hallway, right, I hear a dude say, oh, you don't want to see me? But you too good for me? But I I was doing something. I wasn't getting involved anyway. So I leave and shit, right? Cause I don't want no parts to do just for the time I heard about him. And the brother said, "Yo, I think he need to see you." Like, nah. Let's see the white, right? I I go to the back, right? Head with a hell back there, and then I bounce. When I come back, son, they say, "Yo, them people came, son. They was looking for him. They had to come with the police and everything, son. The nigga like he escaped. He escaped from someplace or something. And the people was looking for him. And that's where they found him. You see, that's why I be telling y'all. Don't send people there. Examine. I don't know what the fuck. I don't know what those people was looking for. That's what I asked. What the fuck is he, an axe murderer or some shit? Yeah. Just the other day, it's Monday. That was like Friday or Saturday. Nah, wait. I don't think it could have been Saturday. Nah, it was a Saturday because that was Al-Jamal's day. It probably was Friday. I think it probably was Friday. But I told y'all, man. I told y'all. Yeah, that was the episode. That was the episode. But that's why you see I run people right out of there. I'm running right out of there. Where you came from? See? If it was me, I would ask nigga, where you came from? What you doing here? You just came from the other G building? Yeah, I think you need to go back. That was one of them. That was one of the moments that I probably wouldn't have signed up. I think if I would have known that I had to be dealing with motherfuckers like that, I'd have been like, nah. They gotta just stay 85. And you know what else divine truth too? Right? In terms of saying there's people that is God, right? They got the knowledge that I don't know about, right? And then at the same token, it's people, right, in other places that I've been hearing a name affiliated with the 5%. But it turns out they not one of us. But you got, now, guy, you got the math for all the languages. The math is in languages I don't even speak now. Speaking of people that might be a little bit emotionally challenged, I'm going to re-ask this question now that we got more people in the room. You say you know a couple guys that what? Don't send them around me. Hey, listen. If you examine, they don't know what to say. They fail. But look, this is a question to the new people that, or the people that wasn't in the room in the beginning. Have you ever seen an emotionally challenged woman? Have you ever seen an emotionally challenged woman mumbling to herself? Oh, you saying, oh yeah, you know a couple of, yeah, people that, they've been saying all this time, like, you're not even 5%. Here I am thinking, but yeah, that's what it is. That's all of that is, that's just part of the game, That's like one of them good with the bad things. Has anyone ever seen that? I'm just taking a little survey based on an observation that I've made over a number of years. Yeah, I gotta figure out how to get this picture off of here. Is this the first time I used this app? No one, anyone? He said, emotionally challenged woman mumbling to herself, of course, where is her diagnosis? I don't know, because I've never seen that. Every emotionally challenged woman that I've seen talking to herself or imaginary people was yelling at the top of her lungs. It used to be this lady over there by Franklin Avenue, Franklin and Fulton. Like, man, this is back like the late 80s, early 90s. And she should just stand at the bus stop screaming. Never saw her get on the bus one time. A lot of women be like that anyway. You ever ride around like early in the morning? Like you take your kids to school or something, so you out like 6:30, 7 in the morning, 7:30. You used to be. I used to take my daughters to school, and it used to always be women, right? And whether they was talking on their phone or whether they was talking to one of their friends or something, just they was just hype, like just they just seemed like they whatever it was, they was ready to fight about it. It's like they be hype early in the morning, dudes be hype late at night. You know, late at night, you know, just arguing. It's not even beef. It's dice games. Motherfuckers just arguing and shit. What you saying is worse? So you say you know a young lady who was emotionally challenged who spoke to herself. She was like, "Those are the best conversations I have." Uh, or she believed it was a spirit talking to her. I was about to say, she, when you want to have a good conversation, at times you have to eliminate uh, any possible stupid individuals. And so I find when I want to have a type of conversation like that, it's best that I talk to myself. But that is kind of the crucial difference there is that, see, I know I'm talking to myself. You know, if I was to lose track of that and think, spirits was talking to me or the dog was telling me to go out and kill people, then that's when you're crossing the line. You saying it seems to be more of what? What is it? What is that? It's like a lag. So as I'm talking, you type in about something a couple seconds back, I think. Talking in different personalities created for coping reasons. I wonder what you call what happened. I wonder what you call what happened to Will Smith. Well, after he wilded out, then he started thinking he was Richard Williams. People who have experienced abuse tend to split or develop multiple personalities to cope and protect. Hmm. Hmm. I mean, I don't know. I mean, sometimes I bounce ideas off myself. I can't really call it. I don't know if any of these things, if I should have a diagnosis. But yeah, though, not divine truth. I think it is a lot. Uh, it's either a lot more. There is one other thing. I think it's a lot more. I think it's just a lot more mentally disturbed people. I think another thing is just the mechanisms. You know, like I guess starting from the 1800s with the eugenics movement and everything, it's kind of uh, you know, these people start getting kind of locked away from society. You know what I'm saying? And just do different things. Like one of the things like in New York, they was abusing these people in the mental hospitals where they was keeping them. So they end up they end up closing that system, and you know a lot of them went into this other system that they got now, where it's like a house, right? It'll be like an apartment, and they'll have a number of them living there. You know what I'm saying? But it's like in a regular neighborhood, they go out for walks or whatever with the counselors that's there. You know, and then you got the people that they basically try to, I guess, do some type of outpatient thing with them and just keep them in some type of treatment, but not locked up. So you got all of those people. I think that's a one phenomenon. And then especially once you get the pandemic, but even before that, with all the different budget cuts, etc. I think a lot of those people, a lot more of them are falling through the cracks, right? And winding up on the street. But I think another factor is that it's so many mind games. It's so many mind games out here in terms of just the way things is marketed. That if you don't have, if your mindset is already a little bit more like easily influenceable, when you can start to maybe like not separate the reality from what is being made to seem real through a lot of this marketing, that like I said, when you take somebody who already, not that they was disturbed, but they might need a little more structure than other people. You got some people that is hermits, right? And they can go out and live by themselves, and that's just what they want to do. right? And then you got other people that isolation would drive them straight crazy. You know what I'm saying? That's a those are certain kind of like mental capacity. I don't know if one is stronger than the other. You know what I mean? Because you could say that the person who has the strength to be by themselves is stronger, but then at the same time, the person who has the ability to cope with other people, you could say they stronger in that way. But in whatever way that people are most susceptible, right, to just like I said, everything from the like button on from the like button on Facebook and Instagram, like all that shit be fucking with people's minds. You know what I mean? Like you going, you know what I mean? That shit right there is making you slingshot. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about emotionally, you slingshotting, over the fucking app and shit. Like did I tell y'all I was listening to the Clubhouse shit one night, and the dude said to the other dude, if we ever in the same place at the same time, one of us must die. And I had to keep listening because I was trying to figure out, like, okay, what happened? Like it's got to be something else. It's got to be something else. They see on there, right, on the app, my name is Allah. So I go in certain rooms and get kicked out. Like if it's Muslims or something, they kick me out. Just for having that name. I don't care though. It's not important enough, for me to really care. Like to me, it's just funny. Most of the time, one of the personalities is the age at which the abuse occurred. Let me see. Nah, I'm pretty sure all my personalities grew up with me. I'm, I'm pretty sure me and all my personalities is freedom born. I don't really I can't, I don't really recall that. I guess it's like being in solitary confinement. You spend so much time alone. You talk to yourself to get your thoughts out. Yeah. For me, that's even without being. But see, I kind of create solitary situations. Like just a lot of things that I do. It's just like I need time to be by myself to do that. But I can kind of thrive in either situation. A question about eugenics, what specific population was that geared towards? It first was a European thing. Eugenics first was a science that it first was a social science. It was a social science to it was a social science to uh, explain why during the social revolution certain people was thriving and certain people you know once you start getting the industrial revolution you start getting the kind of slums that we're talking about and you see people struggling out there and so eugenics was the idea that some people for whatever reason was mentally unfit. You know what I'm saying? And of course, during that time, the social structure that they had was the class structure. So, then obviously there's something about that lower class, that, deal with crime and all of that. And so, you start getting those sciences like when they measuring the criminals' heads and measuring people that go to church heads to say this is a criminal head and this is a religious person head or whatever. And same with you call that the shit with Darwin. Evolution. That and evolution is all related, but getting back to eugenics, there's I think they call the Kallikak family with a K. Kallikak. The family had a lot of problems. You know what I'm saying? They used to they was getting arrested a lot, all types of stuff. And if I'm not mistaken, the particular it was some you gotta research it, but if I'm not mistaken, the whole family had problems, right? Like I said, getting arrested, being in mental institutions, not doing well in school. And I think what happened, there was a girl that got, I'm pretty sure, trigger warning, she got raped, right? And she wound up in a mental institution. And she had a daughter, and the daughter got raped and wound up in a mental institution. And they used that case to say that the the mental deficiency was hereditary. And so that's when the shit started driving into overdrive, of, okay, the humane thing to do then, right? Quote, y'all can't see me doing the air quotes, the humane thing to do here, would be to find a way to stop them from reproducing. But that Kallikak family, they was white. You know what I'm saying? And then, and then, you know, that's what always happens. It start out with them a lot of times, but it don't really get rough until it hit us. You know, I keep forgetting we got the internet right here. Hold on, let me see if I can find those people. Sound like the Kallikak family. The history of medicine is fucked up. Yeah, see, when you look them up, see, that's how you can tell. When you look them up, you ain't even got to type the whole shit in. It just comes up. Kallikak family. Wait. Well, this is. Yeah, this is the. This is just what's her name, but it says the book begins. Well, this is a book that was written about the family by. This is a 1912 book by American psychologist and eugenicist Henry H. Goddard. So it says the book follows the genealogy of Martin Kallikak, Deborah's great 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 grandfather, a Revolutionary War hero married to a Quaker woman. On his way back from battle, the normally morally upright Martin dallied one time with a feeble-minded barmaid. He impregnated her and then abandoned her. The young Martin soon reformed and went on with his upright life, becoming a respected New England citizen and father of a large family of prosperous individuals. All of the children that came from this relationship were wholesome and had no signs of developmental disabilities. But according to Goddard, a child was born by the dalliance with the nameless, feeble-minded girl. This single child, a male called Martin Kallikak Jr. in the book, real name John Wolverton, 1776 to 1861, went on to father more children who fathered their own children and on down the generations. And so with the Kallikaks, Goddard claims to have discovered one has, as close as one could imagine, an experiment in the heritability, what? That's quite a word right there. Hereditability of intelligence, moral ability, and criminality. On the feeble-minded side of the Kallikak family, descended from the abandoned single-parent barmaid, the children wound up poor, mentally ill, delinquent, and intellectually disabled. Deborah was, in Goddard's assessment, feeble-minded, a catch-all early 20th century term to describe various forms of intellectual or learning disabilities. Goddard was interested in the see, I knew it was something funny. They spelled it different this time. I knew they didn't know what they was talking about. Now it says heritability. These people think they could catch me. Of feeble-mindedness, and often wrote of the invisible threat of recessive feeble-minded. It often wrote of the invisible threat of recessive feeble-minded genes carried by otherwise healthy and intelligent-looking members of the population. Mendel's laws had only been rediscovered a decade before. Goddard's genetic shorthand was in his day considered to be on par with cutting-edge science. It was in tracing the family history of Deborah that Goddard and his assistants discovered that Deborah's family of drunks and criminals was related through Martin Kallikak to another tree of economy and prosperity. On the normal side of the Kallikak family tree, the children Martin had with his wife and their descendants all ended up prosperous, intelligent, and morally upstanding. They were lawyers, ministers, and doctors. None were feeble-minded. Goddard concluded from this that intelligence, sanity, and morality were hereditary, and every effort should be undertaken to keep the feeble-minded from procreating, with the overall goal of potentially ending feeble-mindedness and its accompanying traits. The damage from even one dalliance between a young man and a feeble-minded woman could create generations and generations worth of crime and poverty, with its members eventually living off the generosity of the state and consequently taxpayers, Goddard argued. His work contains intricately constructed family trees showing near-perfect Mendelian ratios and then inheritance of negative and positive traits. Goddard recommended segregating them in institutions where they would be taught how to work various forms of menial labor. So, yeah, that was that's another one of those things. Which movie was Wrong Turn? Was that like the people? What was that? Was that like when what was that? The People Have Eyes. The Hills Have Eyes. Was that movie that was something like The Hills Have Eyes? 7 8 Thursday. That's mighty white of them. But yeah, that's another one of those situations where when you backtrack to kind of the the foundation of different ideas and different medical procedures, because this dealing with medicine, maybe this not a procedure but diagnosis, etc., etc. Yo, if that shit is rooted in the 1800s, it's brutal. It's brutal, son. They was brutal. They was really trying to see if the body could go past 6. Yeah, but it was the same kind of movie though, right, VC Rum? But yeah, they're sickos. There's lots of sickos, especially in medicine. See, you can see right now, they're sickos. See how they just gave people that stuff to experiment on them. Yeah. Yeah, I think I seen both of those. I seen both of those. Was The Wrong Turn, was that the one with the whole family and the dude thought he could take like a shortcut down a dirt road or something? It was like a family on vacation. Yeah, I recall. Yeah, who knows, man? I'm not big on movies. But yeah, though, like I said, that was first a social science. You know what I'm saying? And so the same that like that was the opposite. You know, and so you also had people that was excelling. People that might have been not born in the upper class, but they had intelligence, in some form or whatever, that or they was capitalists or whatever, and that brought them to a higher level in society. So what do you call it again? What do you call it? With Darwin, evolution. Evolution was a social concept too, and with evolution, it was Darwin going to the Galapagos. How you say it? Galapagos. Galapagos. When he went out there, it's like okay, he found. It's like he found physical evidence that this idea was held true even in the physical world. The Kallikak family was like the physical evidence that those ideas about eugenics held true. And you talking about non-related people getting messed up by a group of mutants. Shit. Unless you talking about 18-year-old white boys, you get fucked up right now. And this ain't me. This ain't look, we ain't even halfway through this movie. I told y'all. I told y'all that plot from the prequel. I told y'all the plot on the prequel was just beginning to heat up. How y'all liking the movie so far? prequel. Hmm. Um, was eugenics big before or after Margaret Sanger? She's not like the inventor of it. Uh, but uh, she probably, or she, like for instance, you would have to say that guy right there, Goddard. You know what I'm saying? Was like a leading person in getting that kind of idea out there. You know what I'm saying? Uh, she was she's definitely one of the greatest evangelists of it. But that was, listen, you got to realize that, these types of ideas and everything, right, is, I can't say that he directly studied under them, but, you got to realize that that idea exists a little bit even in the talented 10th. Yeah, I don't know if you sit down, you better just make sure you keep your head on a swivel. Cause this movie's in 5D. I'm about to wind this one down. I've been half eating, half doing live. They got a name for that. But you got some channels, but that's all the videos they do. Never heard of the Talented 10th? The Talented 10th was W.E.B. Du Bois. That was a little bit of the idea behind the Divine Nine. What is it? With those first fraternities and sororities and sororities, fraternities and sororities was they were supposed to be choosing the kind of the cream of the crop, the people who was kind of best suited to make it in the colored man world. And it just so happened that most of those people was half original. or somewhere there nears about, because then they had the best of both worlds. This type of ideas is all the same. Now, originally, the idea behind the Talented Tenth was they were supposed to go to college, these different things, get to be professionals in different arenas, and then come back into the black community and, build that up, because, they would be better suited now to teach, the other brothers and sisters who, wouldn't be able to make it in the white world, right? They was better suited to to be able to help them to uplift everybody. What ended up happening is most of them got to that white world and never really looked back. Some of them, Thurgood Marshall, these was, people that, the whole community would take up funds, to send this one person right here, like, to send them to college. But, the Talented Tenth ended up burning W.E.B. Du Bois, and he started seeing that, in fact, they was not the best of, in a lot of cases, anywhere else. But, the Talented Tenth. The different, the NAACPs, the boule that you hear about, all of them, they started from the Talented Tenth. Or they became kind of organized from the Talented Tenth. But the people who they were, you're talking about, a lot of half original people, so, they people that's passing in some cases, so they achieving things through that. You're talking about people who, a lot of times, when the slave master died, he would free, a lot of times, he might free most of them depending on the situation, but in a lot of cases, he would free his half original kids. And so, especially if he give them a little couple dollars, they have a head start on the rest of the black people. Yeah, that's how they became organized. Like all of these different, half original people that, you see, at, that you see, being like the first doctors and the first lawyers and the first et cetera, et cetera. You know what I mean? Even, in terms of civil rights, right? Look, we not pro-black or anti-white, but Plessy was white. Did you know that? That Plessy is white? talking about Plessy, Plessy from Plessy versus Ferguson. Did you know Plessy was white? Yeah. If you Google, if you Google right now a picture of Plessy, he's white. But yeah, at any rate, when they came together and had that meeting, that they ended up forming the fraternities and sororities. That was pretty much what that meeting was accomplishing. You know what I mean? It was kind of organizing something so that you know they would be able to pass down. They would be able to pass down to their children the the prosperity that they gained. Well, yes, it's the 1800s, so it's only black and white pictures. But just saying that a lot of people, when you hear like, yo, this person right here was the first, black doctor or something, you see their pictures a lot of times. But not all of them was shady. Like I said, Thurgood Marshall, he's one of them. The fraternities, I mean, I don't know, they might have been good at one time. Hmm? I mean, yeah, he got some black in him. I mean, if you're looking at him, but like I'm saying, for instance, you from LA, right? Now, if you was down at the gas station, right? At the very least, you would have to say, depending on who he's with, at the time when you see him, it may have an effect on who you think he is. You at the pump, you getting gas, he rolls in with some Mexicans. You, you not all up on him. You see him from the other side, of the gas station. Or you see him out in Beverly Hills, and he's walking with some white people. I can tell you this much. Yeah, if you say he's original, that yellow ain't the same yellow. Yeah, yeah. He said, "Listen, man, you got a black seed, a brown seed, and a yellow seed. You can't be my yellow seed." But I digress. I'm just saying that, uh, if it was today, uh, if it was today, what would we, because you gotta remember back then, you know, even, like I said, looking by the picture, he's, probably at best half original. But I'm saying at that time, they recognizing, you know, octoroons and quadroons and all this other thing where, you know, and it's one drop of black blood. But he's somebody that if you saw him and then look, Divine Truth, don't front. If 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 he was around black people, right? What would be his nickname? Keep it 100, Divine. If if you say he grew up in the hood and he was hanging around black people, what would be his nickname? Anyone can answer that. Anybody can answer that. If Plessy was in the hood, he grew up in your hood, what would be his nickname? Which Shaka Nulu is Shaka Nulu in here? Yeah, see, Mr. Spock. Mr. Spock keep it 100. His name would be White Boy. Whitey. if he was the pimping, they had to call him white folks. Like if you seen him pimping, would you think like, God damn, you never seen a white motherfucker pimping? They do it, but they got a different. See, like Dennis Hoff, that's how they pimp. Moonlight Bunny Ranch. But like if you seen them hardcore in the streets, if you seen them coming down with a deuce and a quarter in the streets, yeah, let me go ahead and wind this down. It's about that time. I'm almost done with this here anyway. Of course, we'll be on tomorrow at 7. Meantime, between time, I'm sign off and say peace. You know, this app right here, hopefully we'll figure this out, this little camera situation by the time we come back. And, which, you know, we still got the other toys, so we do what we do. But, peace.